So last time around, the Coleman CT200U did 57.03 miles per hour. It did 57 miles per hour. And 5.48, 0 to 30. Second attempt, 0 to 30, 5.48. With the Predator 224, with a VM22 carb, header pipe, and the external governor removed. So this time around, I'm gonna add a Mod 2 cam, remove the internal governor, and maybe add a 7-degree flywheel key. And then we'll see what kind of top speed we get and how quick it is from 0 to 30. Okay, let me loosen up this engine. It'll be interesting to see putting a Mod 2 in this with the stock internals. It'll be interesting to see how much the rod can hold. Move this engine back. Remove this clutch. We'll just pull the side cover off and let the oil drain out. Be easier that way. That's an easy oil change. Pull this cover off of here. See what we got. Check out our plastic cam. Yep. Got all the plastic stuff in there. Plastic cam, nylon cam, oil sensor, governor. Time to pull all that stuff out. All right, so let me pull this valve cover off and loosen up the rocker arms. It'll be interesting to see how heavy the valve springs are in here. I know on the Tilly they're a little bit heavier, 18-pound springs or something like that. But on here, it's interesting to see. Yeah, it looks like it's got pretty light springs in it though. So that'll be a limiting factor on the RPM potential of this engine. Surprised it ran that good with the header pipe and the VM22 with those light springs. Loosen up these adjusters here. So I can pull that cam out. Then I'll install some 22-pound springs down in here to go with that Mod 2. Yeah, that thing's got some super light springs in there. I'm surprised this thing ran that good. All right, pull off this lash cap. Pop this cam out of here. Yep, nylon gear. Let me pop this oil sensor out of here. Might as well take all this stuff out. All right, so let me pull all the wiring off on this side. This out of here. Yeah, that thing was barely in there. That thing was just sitting on there. Alrighty, so let me pull this stuff out of here. Okay, so there we go. All the oil sensor. All I gotta do is get up in there and get that little wheel out. Right there. Pop that thing out and we should be good to go. I guess go to the other side, pop the flywheel off. Pop this tank off really quick. Get it out of the way. Pull this back tank bolt off. So now I can get up in here. So now I can get this little clip off, that little wheel under there. The governor wheel, so I can pop that out. Let me pop this off of here real quick. It's easier just to grind a piece of that off and it falls right out instead of messing with it. All right, so there's that. Okay, so there's that little arm. It's so easy just to grind that off. So anyway, all I have to do now is go to the other side, pop the recoil cover off, and pop that wheel out there, and then plug those holes. We should be good to go. Okay, so let me pop this recoil cover off. All right, let's pop this flywheel out here. Okay, put the nut back on here so I don't mess up the threads when I hit it. There we go. Alrighty, there's that. Alright. Okay, so there we go. Flywheel off. Let's punch that little pin out right there and pop that wheel off, the governor wheel. There we go. Got it popped out, the pin popped out, there we go. So there's the wheel. So let's throw this bolt up in the front here for the oil sensor hole. Okay, so now let me put a bolt back in here to block off that governor hole. And a lot of times I don't have to use a button bolt, just something with a real thin head so it doesn't hit the flywheel. So, alrighty, so there we go. So now let's swap out this flywheel key, and hopefully it's one of those that come right out. We'll see. All right, it looks like it's going to be one of those that pop right out. Then I can put a 7-degree flywheel key in here. Okay, so there we go. So now I have the stock flywheel key, and then the 7-degree key. You can see the 7-degree key on the left. You can see the ridge in it. So anyway, I'm going to put the ridge towards the front of the engine there, so the flywheel will turn forward, advance the timing. So this one's a 7-degree key. It'll advance the timing 7 degrees. Okay. Okay, there we go. Make sure it's flush there with the shaft, so the flywheel slides on all the way. So instead of me using the stock Predator flywheel, I'm going to use this Tillotson 212E flywheel. Because it's rated at a lot higher RPM, I think it's 10,000 RPM for 10 seconds and like 8,000 RPM for 30 seconds. So it'll be a lot safer with that Mod 2 cam running this Tilly flywheel. I mean, they both fit on there the same, both have the same taper, so I might as well use this. So I'm going to install the Tilly 212E flywheel on here, and you can see where the flywheel moves because of the advanced flywheel key. So let's make sure it's forward to advance that timing. Okay. Really, all the Predator stuff fits. And I'll snug this down on here right now until I get the side cover on there, and then I can use my hold down tool to hold the crank in place to torque the flywheel, make it a lot easier. So now, get this timing mark up here, and I'll throw in this Mod 2 cam. So, let me pop these lifters back up in here. You definitely can see a big difference, Mod 2 on the left and then the stock cam on the right. The lobes are a lot more flat on the Mod 2, a lot more duration. And of course, you don't have the nylon gear. All right, so let me pop this Mod 2 in here and get these timing marks lined up. Let me button this thing up, and then I'll put my flywheel holding tool on here and tighten that flywheel down. Okay, so let me button this up. Put my flywheel holding tool on here real quick. And I'll tighten down that flywheel while I'm over here, might as well. Torque down this flywheel. Okay, put this recoil back on here. So might as well tighten up the recoil while I'm over here. Finish this side up. Alrighty, so there we go. Tilson flywheel, which is just rated at a higher RPM, but it's still a stock flywheel. And then a 7-degree flywheel key. Get off my flywheel tool here. While I'm over here, I might as well put the clutch and stuff back on. Throw that clutch back on here and tighten up the engine. And then I'll throw those 22-pound valve springs in there. And let's tighten up this chain. All right. While I'm on this side, that's done. The clutch is done. So we'll go ahead and put a bolt in that, and then we'll do the springs, and I think we're about done. All right, the little sealer on here. Okay. Like I said, these will self-tap. Very easy. Because the metal is so soft, or the aluminum is so soft. So it's nothing to self-tap one of these down in here. Okay. Got all the governor holes plugged. Got the clutch on. Mod 2 cam in there. So all I have to do now is throw some oil in there and install these 22-pound springs, and we should be good. So let me fill this combustion chamber with some string, so that way the valves don't pop down into the cylinder. Fill this up with some string. Yeah, you definitely can see the difference between the 22-pound spring and then the stock spring. 22s are a lot thicker, a lot stiffer. So these stock springs are surprisingly weak. I'm surprised they performed as good as they did. Anyway, so let me pop these back in here. These 22s. Okay. Set the other one down in there with the lash cap. All right, there's that one. Put this lash cap back on here on the exhaust side. There we go. Install the rocker arms. Pull my string out of the combustion chamber. Spin this thing over to top dead center. Get these things set right past that compression release. Get over here and set this intake. See if that one's good. All right, so a 3 fits. And a 4 doesn't. So that'll work. To the exhaust side, get a 3 in here. Get in there. All right. So let me pop the valve cover back on here. And we should be good to go for a test ride. Put the spark plug back in here. dump some oil in here. With a stock rod, with a Mod 2 cam, I probably should put some decent oil in it. Okay, so there we go. Mod 2 cam, 22-pound springs, total governor removal, VM22 and a header pipe. It'll be interesting to see how this thing runs. All right, let's take this thing out for a top speed run and see if it throws the rod. The only bad part about it is I might have to walk home. Okay, 0 to 30, Mod 2 cam, Predator 224. To 0 to 30 and 5.53. 5.53. Let me do it one more time to back it up. Second attempt, 0 to 30. Mod 2 cam, Predator 224. It's 0 to 30 and 5.52, so 5.53 and 5.52. Super consistent. Let me go do a top speed and we'll see if it spits the rod outside the block. I'm not sure if it has that much more RPM potential because of the gearing on this bike. Did a top speed of 58.74. 58.74. So the Coleman bike held together. It didn't spit the rod out the block. It did a little bit more top speed, very similar to 0 to 30. So with the VM22 header pipe, Mod 2, and the advanced timing, the 0 to 30 times, 5.52 and 5.53, were very similar to the stock cam 0 to 30 times. But then top speed, with the stock cam it did 57.03, and with the Mod 2 it did 58.74. I think the gearing is so tall on this bike, that's what saved the stock internals, because it holds the RPM back, so that's what keeps the stock internals in check. Okay, so I guess now it gets all the billet parts and the ratio rockers, and we'll see what it does next time.